Welcome to the Student Handbook presentation, Hereford Goals Charging Towards Excellence. And now, a word from our principal. Let's start by revisiting the Hereford High School mission. Hereford's mission is for you to be actively involved in your school community and to make sure you graduate prepared for the opportunities and challenges you will face throughout your life. Two words you're going to hear a lot of this year is mindset and grit. Having a growth mindset makes you a grittier student and allows you to persevere in all you do. So what does it take to be successful here at Hereford High School? 4 pillars. Show up every day, be on time, get involved, and try your hardest. So what is this presentation about? It's about ensuring Hereford High School is a great and safe place to learn. Today we're going to go over what's expected from you, what are the consequences, who's responsible, and who's available. Here at Hereford, we have a great support team. So who's here to help you? We have guidance counselors and teachers, a school resource officer, a behavior intervention specialist, of course the administrators and nurse, this year a full-time social worker, and a school psychologist. This year we do have a new SRO, or School Resource Officer. It's Officer Croft. Take some time when you see him in the hallway to say hi. And, of course, in order to keep a safe school, we do have video security. This year we've upgraded, added more cameras to make Hereford High School an even safer place. Talking about security, let's talk about property and lockers. Please make every attempt to refrain from bringing valuables to school. If you choose to bring these valuables to school, understand that it is your responsibility to protect them. Should you leave a classroom or library, take all of your property with you. Regardless of how long you think you'll be gone, do not share your locker or locker combination with any other student. Use your locker to keep your valuables safe. Remember, we cannot be responsible for items that are left unattended. Safe schools are really up to all of us. It's not just the responsibility of the adult. If you see something that concerns you, please notify a teacher, an administrator, or counselor, or the school resource officer. You always have the option to remain anonymous. Let's talk about what is scope of authority. Scope of authority basically means the time frame in which the BCPS school rules and policies are in place. Basically, it means when you leave to come to school in the morning until you arrive at your door in the afternoon. So while you're participating in school-sponsored activities or events, regardless of whether the activity or event takes place on or off of school property or occurs during regular instructional hours. It also means while being transported to and from school or school-sponsored activities. A quick reminder about unexcused absences. Students who have accumulated 5 unexcused absences during a marking period may fail all their courses for that quarter. If you have 2 days to bring a note to your homeroom teacher. Present a yellow slip to each of your teachers. And remember the rule about 10 or more absences. Students missing 20% of class time within each marking period are subject to a failing classwork grade. Remember, suspensions are also considered absences. Take a moment to review the lateness policy here at Hereford High School. By law, what's considered an excused lateness? An illness of a student, an illness of a parent, court summons, or a religious observance. Any medical condition should be documented by a doctor and a note given to the school nurse. Truancy. Truancy is the failure to be in your assigned area during a school day. There are 4 possible escalating consequences. Let's take a few moments to go over each of the 3 categories of offenses. These can be found on page 14. Each of these offenses will result in some form of administrative intervention. You should take some time to review each of the Category 1 offenses. Here are some examples. Possession of a lighter, abusive language, fighting, a cell phone violation, refusing to cooperate with the school rule, or academic dishonesty. Remember, that state law prohibits smoking on school property at any time by anyone. This includes electronic cigarettes. Please take a moment to review the consequences for violation of this rule. Let's take a moment to talk about disrespect and insubordination. Insubordination includes such things as failure to follow directions, refusing to cooperate with the school rules, refusing to cooperate with school transportation regulations, refusing to do assigned work or serve detention, or using obscene or abusive language. Academic dishonesty would include such things as cheating on a test, copying another student's work, or forging a signature. And remember our cell phone, iPod, headset policy. They're not to be seen, used, or heard from the time you enter the building until the time you exit the building. It is your responsibility to secure electronic devices. Leave it in your locker, backpack, or purse. Let's take a moment to review the consequences for electronics violation. The first time there's an electronics violation, it will be given to an administrator and returned to you at the end of the day. The second time you have an electronics violation, that device will only be returned to a parent or guardian. Repeated offenses will result in additional escalating consequences. An important point, when you go to the health suite, the nurse is the person who will be contacting your parent or guardian. You are not to use your cell phone. Otherwise, the consequences just discussed will apply to you. And remember the rules about transportation. Ride only your assigned bus. Be on time for pickup. Follow all bus rules. The school bus is an extension of the school. All the same rules apply. If you need to ride in a different bus, you should make those arrangements through your grade level administrator. Now let's look at some Category 2 offenses. These are offenses for which a student normally would be suspended and which may result in a long-term suspension or even an expulsion. Examples of Category 2 offenses may include pulling a fire alarm, physically attacking another student, possession of a look-alike weapon, theft, harassment, bullying, intimidation, or repeated Category 1 offenses. Harassment, bullying, or intimidation. These are all unwanted and unwelcome. Baltimore County says harassment, bullying, or intimidation of sexual, racial, religious, or ethnic nature that limits a student's ability to participate in and or benefit from an educational program is strictly prohibited by both federal law and BCPS policy and will not be tolerated. Prevention, consequences, and remedial action. Bullying, harassment, or intimidation of any person on school property or school bus or in any school-sponsored activity or by use of electronic equipment will result in consequences. A student may complete a state victim reporting form. Please see an administrator or guidance counselor for any assistance. Violence at Hereford High School will not be tolerated. Physical attacks will result in 3 to 5 day suspension. There is no excuse for violence. Now let's take a look at Category 3 offenses. These offenses will result in expulsion or assignment to an alternative program. Examples of these most severe offenses include making a bomb threat, possession or distribution of alcohol and or other drugs, striking a staff member, robbery, possession of a weapon on school property. If it is a Category 3 offense, the student is removed from school and is suspended until a hearing is held by the superintendent's designee. The designee will hear the case, and if the student is found guilty of the charges, the designee will assign a student to an alternative placement or an expulsion from school for an extended period of time. Remember, Hereford High School has a character code. These are established guidelines and expectations of behavior for all students participating in extracurricular activities. Academic dishonesty, substance abuse, and inappropriate behavior are not accepted under the character code. Hereford High School It all boils down to three things: respect, responsibility, and relationships. All of the policies and procedures are found in your student planner. This has only been a brief overview. It is your responsibility to read those policies in more detail. So a final question: what makes Hereford such a great school? The answer is you do. If you have any questions about this handbook presentation, please ask your homeroom teacher and or seek out your grade level administrator. At this time, please sign your student handbook presentation sign-off sheet. Tonight, have your parents sign page 27 in the student behavior handbook, and return it to your homeroom teacher tomorrow morning.